Good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to a Micah production. Today's video is going to be a little different. I'm typically very scripted, and I like to keep it that way for professionalism. But I wanted to provide an update because I noticed I have a few new followers, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you for joining the channel. But I haven't posted in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to be following up with another video later on this week. I just wanted to provide an update, kind of give you an insight into what I've been doing and why I haven't been posting as much. And the reality is that I've actually been doing what I can to forward the movement. I recently completed editing a video for Jared George from The Great Order. If you don't know about him, he's a much larger channel and he's submitting his work to Red Ice. So not only was it an honor working with him because I believe that he's doing the right thing in championing the movement, and I think that he has a good head on his shoulders. He seems like an upstanding guy who has a true love for what he's fighting for. It would obviously be an honor to have it accepted by Red Ice. Either way that it goes, I'm very happy with being able to help out in any way possible. And so this would be kind of the first point in the update is I'm doing things behind the scenes. I will keep you guys updated on. But ask yourself, how can you help the movement? I'm not asking you to work for free for me, but ask what you can do. Because there are a lot of people out there providing conjecture, but they don't actually talk about doing anything. Second off, I want to talk about somewhat of a philosophical question I've been mulling over in my mind. And unfortunately, there are a whole lot of things I want to bring to you guys in video format that I haven't been able to because I'm so busy, and I like to really refine these ideas. And lately, news just alone, not considering all the negative news or all the contention in this community, has been moving at light speed. So it's kind of hard to keep up to date, but I'm choosing veracity over just speed of information. But this idea that I've been mulling over, I've actually worked into a short essay that I might submit to get published, or I might publish it myself. I'm not some sort of a high-level academic writer, or at least in recognition, nor would I try to inflate myself to be something that I'm not, but I would love to put this out there. It's not something that I'm just going to fling out there at you guys and expect you to enjoy it in the same way that you've enjoyed 3 to 5 minute videos, because this might be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's a little bit longer, and there's a lot of detailed philosophical aspects to cover that have to do with law, and that have to do with politics, that have to do with ethnicity, and all kinds of things. But the basic idea that we should mull over leading up to this video is some of the claims that are made academically and politically in a climate of racial tension, and in a climate where there are tragedies, where churches get bombed and mosques get shot up and schools get shot up, and this is all happening in the name of politics, really. It's happening in the name of race as well, but what do you hear after all of these tragedies? Well, what you hear is the integration will continue. We're going to force opposing violent ideas into the same neighborhoods, and you have nothing to do about it, and we're going to eliminate your right to self-defense. You're not allowed to carry a utility tool down the street anymore. You can't carry a pocket knife. There are going to be curfew restrictions. There's going to be travel restrictions, speech restrictions, depending on where you live, or if you're in a Muslim neighborhood. And if somebody thinks that this is outlandish, you can just look at what's happening in the UK, what's happening in London. All of these laws, as absurd as they sound, not being able to carry a pocket knife, not being able to drive a car into certain parts of town. These are all real laws that are happening, and the irony of such is that the government always, and I'm not an anti-statist necessarily, and I don't want to be the guy who says, bah, humbug, government, but the state is always saying, we're doing this for your own good. We're doing this to preserve the rights of the people. And by all means, the state collectively is supposed to act in the interest of the common man, the countryman, who's got some level of indigeneity to his region. What really is the purpose of man in government when the state eliminates the man's ability for self-defense, and the state eliminates the man's ability for free travel, for expressing himself, and there are even policies to eliminate people who are native to areas like the UK. I mean, you can look at white paper docs, white paper docs meaning released files are not hidden in any way. You can look these up from the UN and the EU that talk about replacing their people. But if the state exists for the people's good and to defend, then really what's the purpose now that the state's purpose or function is to eliminate its people? Or what is the function of the state that the highest morality it's proposing is to force people against their will into the same neighborhood with violent opposing ideologies, and then claim that it has there is no autonomy on behalf of the state, that the state is this, immaterial thing in the background that's benign, that can't take any blame for what happens, and that it's all the fault of man. And if man were not flawed, if he were not bigoted, that this political refinement would go a whole lot easier. But if you really look at the purpose that's being served, it's almost treating human beings like they're playthings. It's let's pack people in like sardines into a metropolis and line them up on the shelf of a globalist, so to speak, for amusement or for novelty. The law no longer serves the countryman. The Celtic countryman can no longer enter his natural landscape without stumbling upon more red tape than there is landscape. And it's tragic, but it's also so tragic and such a lie that it's almost comical. It's like, at what point does the state contradict itself and implode upon itself? So these are the ideas that I'm mulling over. I didn't really speak them in a way that I wanted to, but this is the reason why I am going to publish an essay that's much more detailed, and I get into philosophy of science and philosophy of law. If you want to listen to something more dry like that, I'm going to be bringing it later this week. I'll follow up with more of what's going on, and stay tuned. Thank you to my new followers, and keep up the good fight. Thank you.